Hello everybody and welcome back once again to the Brawl for All Pro Wrestling Show. I am your host, Jeff Jaros. As always, it's episode 55. I'm going to be running you through here by myself again like last week, so bear with me as we run through Raw real quick, and then I have some news and notes that I have, and that'll be the end of the show. Probably be another quick one here like it was the week before on episode 54. I thank everybody who has tuned in, subscribed, and listened to the episodes and left a comment or any feedback on Facebook or YouTube. I also have a Twitter now. It is Jeff Jaros at the future before all. So find us on Twitter there now, at the future before all. I just made it the other day. I'll be posting this show up there. So if you're a fan of the show, go ahead and follow me on Twitter as well. Going into this Raw, they were under 3 million on the ratings last week, but this week they were able to jump over 3 million. That's a good sign that WWE has actually jumped back up, but how long will it last? I don't know. This show wasn't too great, but it wasn't too bad. It had some comical moments, I thought, too. So, as we run through here, show kicked off with confetti falling from the ceiling. New Day came out. They claimed it was Naomi's birthday. They announced Sheamus was the new champion. So I think they were a little late on the Sheamus celebration here, but I guess they didn't have anything else, so they're just like, let's do New Day doing a Sheamus celebration. Sheamus thanked the people. He thanked the authority for teaching him to take advantage of opportunity, and he thanked Roman Reigns, or none of this could have been possible, and he made fun of the fact that Reigns' title reign only lasted 5 minutes, with New Day, Sheamus celebrating as pyro blared through the arena, and Reigns came out of nowhere with a Superman punch, and Reigns grabbed the belt and left with it. After the break, Reigns is back with the Usos and Ambrose laughing. Triple H and Steph walked up and demanded the belt back. Reigns handed it over. Sheamus said he wanted a title match tonight. Reigns accepted, and the catch is he has to beat Sheamus in 5:15 or less. Oh yeah, Sheamus also started a new slogan, Sheamus 5:15, I just kicked your arse. And he's even wearing a shirt he was even wearing on SmackDown that I watched today. Next, they went into Ziggler defeating Tyler Breeze in a rematch. He hit a super kick for the win. Pretty decent match there for Raw. Miz TV segment with Rusev and Lana. Lana actually returning, so good to see Lana back in there, and she is just going right back in the role they had her before with the Bulgarian Brute, I guess now. She said engaging Rusev was the best day of her life. They fight hard, but they love harder. All is forgiven, and they did not go all the way with Ziggler or Summer, and I thought that was really funny. Rusev says his heart belongs to Lana, and they kissed. Ryback's music hit, and he comes down to the ring and says this is garbage, it's raw, and he's hungry. And Lana told Rusev to crush, so she's back to saying Rusev crush. Rusev versus Ryback. Lana is hit by the steps. Rusev helps her and gets counted out. So Rusev, instead of getting back in the ring to face Ryback, was counted out by helping Lana on the ringside. So we're going to have to see where this whole Rusev-Lana thing goes, and if they keep feuding with Ryback here or what. But as you'll see that Rusev was thrown into a faction too, so I don't know if Lana is going to keep the role alongside him even in this faction. I've yet to see her out there during this faction run. Backstage, Triple H tells Ambrose if Reigns loses tonight, he'll lose his IC title match at TLC. So they had that. So he's getting on Ambrose's bad side still. Then they had a cool segment where the Dudleys were in the ring with a bunch of tables and blankets on them. They claimed that the Wyatts have been beating them up for over a week. He says the Wyatts have put a target on their own backs as well as their names on these tables, and Devon pulled the sheets off, revealing that each Wyatt family's name has been written on each table. Wyatt came out and accepted the Dudley Boys challenge. Dudley said that Wyatt has his family and they have theirs. Tommy Dreamer returns and appears out of the crowd with a trash can full of weapons and joined the Dudleys in ring and fought off the Wyatts with a bunch of Singapore canes. So the returning Tommy Dreamer, if this is what their answer is to boosting ratings, I'm not too sure about that thinking, but Tommy Dreamer, I guess he's somewhat of a name, and, you know, I could see Spike Dudley coming back to enter this feud against the Wyatts, and that's one thing I wanted to note on tonight's show, is that I can see, I mean, they are one short, 4-on-3 right now, so Spike Dudley would definitely help. So I look to see maybe them adding him into this feud down the line, if not before TLC, if not at it. Then they had the Wyatt family and Dudley Boys and Dreamer. Brawl broke out mid-match, and the ref threw the match out no contest. The Wyatts destroyed Dreamer and the Dudleys post-match, and Bray called for the family to get the tables. As Bray was on the apron, Bubba jumped up and pushed him off to the table. Dudleys and Dreamer retreated, so that feud continued also on SmackDown that I watched today. Goldust Del Rio was on there. Del Rio hit a top rope double foot stomp for the win. After the match, Del Rio put Goldust in the cross arm breaker, and Swagger came down for the save, so Del Rio retreated. Lynch talked to Charlotte about going to the Authority and seeing if they'll give them a match against each other. Charlotte was hesitant, but Lynch says not for the title or anything. So Charlotte agreed and said as long as her father can walk her to the ring, and Flair appeared and they wooed and walked off. And later on in the match, we'll see that Flair's intelligence came into play here, that he has passed down to Charlotte, obviously, which I think is kind of neat that they're making her sort of like bringing her Flair out of her. The Usos took on the Lucha Dragons, who were in that deal last week. Big E and Kofi attacked both teams and caused a double DQ. After the match, Wood says that on the mic, since no team won and it was a double DQ, that they will defend the tag titles against nobody at TLC. Backstage, the Usos and Luchas plead to Stephanie to make it a triple threat versus New Day at TLC. Steph turned to the Lucha Dragons and said that they were in, and then turned to the Usos and said that if Roman can defeat Sheamus in 5:15 or less, that they're in. So Steph turned the tables on the Usos there too. Sasha Banks tapped out Brie Bella for the submission win in a match on Raw. Backstage, the Usos and Ambrose cheered on Reigns, who was up next, and Sheamus and Reigns had their match for the WWE title if he wins in 5:15 or less. Reigns goes for a spear and is attacked by Rusev to cause a DQ. King Barrett and Del Rio come out of nowhere and pulled Sheamus out of the ring after that, and Reigns won by DQ. After the match, Sheamus announced that he has some great friends, and they shall now be known as the League of Nations. So we saw the debut of the League of Nations, which they were still carrying on about on SmackDown. They go to the attack Reigns, but the Usos and Ambrose jumped in the ring. Reigns told Sheamus that he just wants him. Sheamus gets on the apron, and Reigns sends him flying with the right hand. So it looks like a 4-on-4 little feud going on here. This could have played better, I think, right before Survivor Series. It's kind of weird after Survivor Series they're throwing a 4-on-4 feud together, but I guess that's just how it played out. We'll see if that culminates at TLC in any kind of match. I'm sure it will. We already have Reigns versus Sheamus in the TLC match for the title, but I'm looking to see the Usos and Ambrose and maybe the other members of League of Nations in a matchup. I would say that that match probably will be booked for TLC, but we'll have to see here. Next week will be the last draw before TLC. Charlotte versus Becky Lynch. This was kind of cool because Charlotte jumped over Lynch and went down holding her ankle like she was hurt. Lynch got distracted and Charlotte got the roll up for the win. So the dirtiest player in the game has passed down his wisdom to his daughter, and I think it's kind of neat that Charlotte has the Flair coming out in her, and I look at her and Becky Lynch to be having a heated feud here before long. Then they had the main event of Raw. Reigns, Ambrose, and the Usos took on the League of Nations. New Day came out and said that they asked to be part of the League of Nations, so it ended up in a 7-on-4 handicap match with Sheamus bro-kicking Ambrose for the win. After the match, Sheamus also bro-kicked Reigns as well, and Raw went off the air. It was a pretty subpar Raw, and I don't think the League of Nations are going to boost ratings any. We'll see in the coming weeks how it goes, but I don't see Reigns being where he's supposed to be at to be the main focal point on Raw, kind of like he has been, and this League of Nations faction's kind of weak, because other than Del Rio and Sheamus having the WWE title, it seems like all those guys were jobbing out, and now they're in this top faction. It's kind of weird. I mean, I already seen this faction coming, but now they're christening the League of Nations, so it was like I already seen that faction already played out before Rusev even went down with that injury. I said that they had a little foreign faction going with no name, but now they are now the League of Nations with Del Rio in there as well. So we'll see in coming weeks how that all plays out and how these ratings go as they went back above the 3 million mark, but will they go back under again? Time will tell. As we get on to the news and notes and close the show out, and like I said, it's going to be a quick one probably because it's just me myself, but I hope you enjoyed at least listening to the information that I gave out. It's kind of hard to respond to any questions that I have myself. I kind of just give my opinions as I run through things, just like I will here with the news. Kurt Angle announced his retirement from TNA. I guess his contract's up in January and says he will not resign. He will announce his retirement. Time will tell to see if he does anything with WWE, whether it's getting in the Hall of Fame, having one last match. Anything is possible with Kurt Angle. Sami Zayn returning soon to NXT. They've been airing vignettes on NXT. And NXT was okay this week. Nothing too huge to report. But nonetheless, I do look forward to NXT London coming up. And maybe when I get C-Dub or Jeff on here, I'll give you a more extensive look at what happened on NXT. But I say everybody go check that out. It was pretty decent at NXT this week. Lana still in heat over bullying claims about Paige on Twitter. So I guess on Twitter she was claiming that Paige was a bully, and I guess she's still in some hot water over that. Nonetheless, going out and marrying Rusev, which went against kayfabe since it broke out that they were marrying, are engaged. We'll see what happens with Lana here in the future on TV. As I said, it doesn't look that she's involved with the League of Nations, so it's kind of interesting to see what they're going to do with her. Ric Flair will have an ESPN special 30 for 30, and Vince actually signed off to use archival footage. So I thought that was an interesting note, and I will be anxious to see that 30 for 30 on Flair. That'll be pretty good. WWE seems to be beefing up security since Sheamus was involved in a fan incident at a live event last week. So I guess be on the lookout for increased security in WWE events. Solomon Crow was released by WWE NXT, which I think he may have been released last week, but I did not announce it. But yeah, he has been let go, so that's why you won't be seeing Solomon Crow in the coming weeks on WWE NXT, aka Sami Callihan. I seen he was already booked. I think he won the 2CW title already on the Indies. So I hope Sami Callihan can, keep his career going and maybe come back sometime. AJ Styles dealing with a lingering lower back issue. He was pulled from several NJPW New Japan tapings and ROH tapings. Said in Japan Bi-Monthly magazine that it was caused by overworking himself on the Indies in 2015. So I hope AJ Styles can get the necessary treatment that he needs and get back in there. I really want him to get in the WWE. John Cena was reported to headline upcoming Tour of India for WWE. It starts January 15th in New Delhi, so look for him to be making a comeback by then. WWE.com has been posting polls lately. They asked about which championship should be brought back, the Women's Cruiserweight, European, or the $1 Million. And actually, Sasha Banks and Charlotte reacted to the poll, claiming the women's on Twitter. I guess they are tired of being labeled as divas, and it's more women's wrestling now, so they want a women's wrestling title, and they both tweeted that. Santino Marella was married, so congrats to him and his wife. I did not actually get the name of his wife, but congratulations to Santino. WWE Raw also posted a poll asking what makes you change the channel during Raw, which I thought was real interesting. I kind of just watch it all the way through and not really a channel flipper. Whenever me and Jeff watch, we kind of just, if we get bored, we talk to each other and kind of flip back to Monday Night Football. But the football game makes me change it a lot. But if it's real bad, like a women's match, it's boring, or a boring match, we will definitely go check out what's going on something else. So it's interesting to see what the results of that poll really were, like the overwhelming winner of that poll. I would like to see. WWE reportedly interested in signing Japanese star Shinsuke Nakamura, who we have talked about Nakamura, and also interested in, the current ROH champion Jay Lethal. So both of them reportedly WWE very interested in. Shinsuke Nakamura, C-Dub has talked about him quite extensively in past episodes, so it would be great to see him get into WWE. UFC Dana White confirms that Holm and Rousey will be an immediate rematch as soon as Rousey is able to fight. And in another Dana White note, he announced that the new show, Dana White Looking for a Fight, he is scouting potential opponents for CM Punk with it. So that's very interesting. So it looks like CM Punk's rumors on him not fighting are false. It looks like he is going to be given an opponent from a winner of a reality show. So that's very interesting. Couple more notes here. Stone Cold's new podcast will air immediately following TLC, and it'll feature none other than HBK Shawn Michaels. So I look forward to that Stone Cold podcast following TLC with Shawn Michaels. That's some breaking news that I just checked out. Also some breaking news. Lesnar was not announced for the Rumble match, but he is scheduled to appear to begin his build to Mania at Royal Rumble. So that is interesting that Lesnar will appear at Rumble in some form or another. Will it be in the Rumble match? I'm probably gonna say no, but you never know, so definitely gonna keep you posted on that. The next one that I had was Owens wanting Lesnar at Mania 32. He said it in an interview. And then Court Bauer, former creative writer for WWE, claimed that on the latest episode of MLW Radio that WWE has been discussing the idea of Lesnar versus Owens. Other matches that have been being discussed are Reigns versus Triple H and Undertaker versus John Cena for WrestleMania 32. So 3 interesting matches being discussed there by WWE. Owens Lesnar, I've always said it could be one hell of a match because Owens is just out there to fight. Lesnar's just out there to fight. So, I mean, it's just a natural feud, in my opinion. If it's booked right, it could be really good, in my opinion. So, if they want to give Owens a nod and give him a push to the next level, a match with Lesnar at WrestleMania would definitely boost him. But that looks like it is the last note that I had actually for this episode. Sorry it was so fast and short, guys, but without another co-host on here, this is pretty much what you're going to get, the news and what happened on Raw and my opinions. So I thank everybody who has stuck with me here and listened to my opinions, and I hope that you come back and check us out on episode 56. I hope to get some of the crew back on here, and also go down to the description below and check out C-Dub at Chronochord Media. We like to do cross promotion with them, and I always like to give them a shout out, so go down to the description below and I will post his YouTube channel link, so go check them out and subscribe to them as well. Chronochord Media got a lot of cool stuff, wrestling stuff too on there, so if you're a wrestling fan, you will enjoy Chronochord. So, Jeff Crow, peace to him. I'll be getting a hold of him, trying to get him on next week. But other than that, I have nothing left. So until episode 56, guys, I'm going to say, as always, peace out. Thanks for listening.